Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Last night, I forgot. I didn't have a chance to check out the new edition of Monday Night Wars, which was on Tuesday. Was it A New Generation? Or I guess it would be A New Degeneration, my bad. Basically, I thought this was a very good episode of WWE's Monday Night Wars, going up WCW against WWE. DX was an awesome group. Honestly, when I think about it, this was like the perfect timing for a documentary on DX. Honestly, at the end of a 1-hour show, I honestly felt like I wanted more from this. Not that the show was bad. It did highlight a whole bunch of good moments. You did get to see a lot of their, good, skits and interviews and things along the way. A lot of this stuff you're already going to know just from being a wrestling fan. Things have been covered in the Monday Night Wars DVD. Things were covered in the Monday Night Wars episode 1, your NWO documentary, your Attitude Era documentary. They talk about DX a lot. We've got the Shawn Michaels documentary, the Triple H documentary. You've seen a lot of stuff on DX, but honestly, as a guy who collects documentaries, as a guy who collects DVDs, a guy who's as a quest to get as much knowledge about wrestling and sort of backstage sort of interviews, there was a few golden nuggets. There was an interview with Chris Jericho talking about when DX was driving the tank up to the arena WCW is, when basically Triple H, the New Age Outlaws, and X-Pac were, declaring war on WCW. Basically, Triple H was wearing the black armband, prisoners of WCW, trying to get Hall and Nash out of the company and bring them back to WWE so they can be on the winning show again. And hearing him talk about that is something that I'd never seen before, and I really liked the fact that he was talking about how they were all up in the window trying to look and see, what was going on out there, because they were all interested to see, what they were doing, because that was the hip, fresh idea that they had never thought of and nobody had ever seen before. Bischoff, of course, came running in and told them all to get out of there, that there was nothing to see here, and they all, scattered and ran away, all, wishing they could look out the window. But, as a fan of DX, like I said, you can get a lot of things out there, but not in the same package. They have released 3 DX DVDs over the year. Of course, there is the Degeneration X DVD that came out in 2005. This was a sort of a DVD transfer of the VHS tape that came out in 1998. This is a heavily edited. Basically, they bleep out the cuss words. They put little, sticky pads that say DX over the chicks when they flash them, because in 1998 when this came out, honestly, they let it all fly. It was unedited. It was unedited. It was everything. They showed girls' tits. They showed butts. They showed them do cuss words. They showed them do everything. When they re-released this in 2005. I think you can buy this in stores. I don't think this was a WWE shop exclusive. I know that's where I got it from. They gave it to me free when I made an order for a couple of shirts. They said, put this code in and we'll send you the DX DVD for free. And I said, cool. Came with a few extra bonus matches. Shawn Michaels versus Mankind. Triple H versus Bret Hart. And then Triple H and Shawn versus Mankind and Undertaker. All Raw matches from 1997. Secret is, though, I guess get this because you're a DVD collector, but what you actually want is the DVD transfer of the 1998 VHS tape. So you get it in its original form, unedited, and everything like that. But where'd you get that? Don't worry about it. Of course, I don't have the real box for this, but this is the new and improved DX that came out in 2007. And, of course, One Last Stand, which came out in 2011. I don't like the way that these DVDs were made, honestly, just because it's not a best of. It's just everything they fucking did. Every time they walked out on Monday Night Raw, every time they were on pay-per-view, basically it's on there. They have wrestlers talk about what was going on. They're interviewing John Morrison and Carlito about what they just saw on Monday Night Raw, and it's just boring to show you too much. I want the best of the best. I don't want everything. I know that there's sometimes you want everything. I know that's why a lot of people are liking that they're putting up WCW Nitro, and you can watch the whole shows. I watched an episode of that last night. That was pretty fun. But, you know, as a DX fan, I think they truly do need a 2-hour documentary DVD where you can watch sort of like the best of clips of them talking about everything that they went through. People still go crazy for this group. You can see it, you know, Raw 1000 on Monday Night Raw. When they came out, the place came unglued. They sold a ton of t-shirts. They weren't even a real group at the time. It didn't really make sense for them to be there because that was a time when Brock Lesnar came back, and of course he would break the New Age Outlaws' arms after that, and of course then he would break Shawn Michaels' arm later down the road before SummerSlam to really heat the match up, because Shawn said he was going to be there and be in Triple H's corner. But everybody loves them. I don't know why, because I really want to watch more DX now, and I would love to have a DVD with 2 discs of bonus features of matches and promos, and I don't have that now, and that makes me sad. But this really was fun. I mean, of course, like I said, they're going to go over everything. Basically, the first 10 minutes was just rehashing the thing that WCW is kicking the shit out of WWE, and WWE didn't know what to put on Monday Night Raw. They kept on showing the Road Dogg at the time is coming out in his country gimmick singer, because he had exposed Jeff Jarrett as the real singer of Be My Baby Tonight, and why you would want to be known as the guy who sings that song, I got no clue. And of course, Billy Gunn came out to be the heir to the Honky Tonk Man, and he was being Rockabilly, and they were showing them because they would later be paired up as the New Age Outlaws. But they were really exposing that, Vince was still living in the past, and he was putting, bad characters out there on TV. Even Triple H talked about being Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and he said he did it in order to get his foot in the door, and he kept on waiting for Vince to sort of let the character sort of, roll out and sort of expose himself as being who he was. And him and Shawn kept on putting the pressure, and they showed Shawn being out there. I believe it was on Monday Night Raw, and the fireworks are going off, and, you can just see the fire in Shawn Michaels being burnt out, because he's, in WWE, he's getting paid. He's the main eventer. He's the one the show's built around. But, the Clique was a team that was really put together, and 3 of his friends were now on the other show, and they were kicking the shit out of him, and nobody wants to be on the losing team. And Brett is doing what Brett does, and he's doing what he does, and there's just a constant clash of fighting. The Shawn Michaels pyro that has been famous for years. At the time, it used to go off in the ring, where, and he just starts like stroking it off, because it's just like, oh, who gives a shit? It's just Monday Night Raw. Nobody cares. And 96, 97. Shawn Michaels at that time, and no fucks were given, basically. You can honestly tell by watching most matches, by watching most Monday Night Raws, if he's not having a blast out there with Triple H, he just doesn't want to be there at all, and a ton of things they do. And basically, they keep twisting Vince's arm to the point where Vince just says, all right, do whatever the fuck you want to do, to the point where they start having fun, and they start doing whatever they want to do. And USA sends a letter, and they say they can't say these words, and they go on Monday Night Raw, and they say all those words anyways, reading the letter that USA sent them. And for some reason, because the way they did it, USA loved it, and then all of a sudden, all rules were off, and they can do whatever they want to do again. To the point, and then they started talking about how Shawn broke his back in that bump with The Undertaker at Royal Rumble, where he went toppling over the top rope, and then he fell, and he hit his back on the casket, and they say he ruptured some discs, and he broke a disc, and, it ended up being that people thought Shawn Michaels was going to retire. He moved down to Texas. He opened up his own wrestling school. Vince was trying to find ways to bring him back as the commissioner, but then, of course, everybody knows the stories of when he would come back as the commissioner, and he just was a pilled-out mess who just was even more frustrated because he was on the show, and he wanted to have a more bigger role, and he couldn't be there, and basically got to the point where they just had to send him home and get rid of him, because they just couldn't use him. And They talk about the reformation of DX, where basically after the match against Shawn Michaels, Triple H comes out on Monday Night Raw, and he says that, you know, Triple H dropped the ball, and this is his baby from now on, and they're rolling out, and X-Pac comes out, and he had just recently been fired from WCW. He sort of got used as a pawn because Bischoff was trying to control Hall and Nash. In order to do that, to sort of spank their hand, he fired X-Pac. X-Pac ended up going back to WWE, which fired up against Bischoff, because he ended up being a big part of this group with the New Age Outlaws, who are really running buckshot over Raw at the time over the tag team division. They really shook hands and really fit with DX and what they were doing. You know, they had sort of been working with Shawn and Triple H months before WrestleMania, you know, started to get that rub, but they never really an official member of the group. Road Dogg and Billy Gunn tell the story sort of like they sort of blew off. They didn't want to be with DX because they honestly sort of thought they were a little bit hotter. And at the same time, they were being asked to do it and trying to say they didn't want to do it. They were really flattered that they were getting the chance. But they really group up. They were supposed to be heels. Everybody knows about them attacking Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack in the ring, tying him up to the steel cage. And you know, the fans loved this group, and they were so far behind it. Vince had the smarts to sort of flip them, and then they go up against the Nation. No real timeline of feuds, or no real play out of feuds. They don't show any matches. That's what really got my hunger going. My mouth was watering. I want to watch more DX right now. I'm real fired up. This is an awesome episode. This is the one that really got me into it. I really love The War Begins. That was like almost like a 1 hour, just a real documentary that you would watch like on the History Channel of how the war went between, you know, WCW stacking up their company on the front lines, you know, making sure they have a good enough roster to go up against WWE at the time. And then the rise of the NWO was just a whole bunch of rehashed stuff that I had seen before. You know, they never really got into once the NWO really started rolling, and episode didn't get me that well. Attitude Era I thought was better than the Attitude Era DVD that came out 2 years ago. But DX was 10 stars. A 10-star rating for the A New Degeneration episode of WCW Monday Night Wars. Make sure you go out of your way and watch this. This is my memory. WWE Network, $9.99 a month. You could be watching this right now. I don't know why you're watching me. Turn me off. Turn on the network. Peace out.